I just want to talk to everybody for a minute about CISPA. This is getting ready to go to the House next week to be voted on, and there's a reason we should all be really concerned about this. It basically would nullify our privacy rights to our information on the internet in a whole bunch of different ways. It's going to go in and say that the government and the military can see your information, share your information with companies. Companies can share with them. Everybody can just spread that all around without a court order. So used to be where they would actually have to follow an oversight chain of command on that. Now, basically, they wouldn't need it, because if what you're doing is somehow deemed a cyber threat, then they can just have your information. It's broad and it's vague. But even with that being said, having read through this a couple times, I keep getting stuck on this one point. Quote, including information pertaining to the protection of a system or network from A, efforts to degrade. So, what's degrade? What do you have to do to degrade a system or network? If I sit here right now and I tell you Facebook is a sucky corporation and basically they have an abysmal track record of protecting their users' privacy, their information, there's all kinds of articles out there about if you upload anything to Facebook and then you sign the user agreement, they can use your pictures for advertising and it becomes their sole property or whatever. Is that a cyber threat? Because I have now had efforts to degrade their network, their system, whatever. It's vague and it can be interpreted multiple ways. Facebook has come now forward and said that they realize that people are upset, but they have a really good justifiable reason for why they agree with CISPA and are supporting it. And basically, it says here in this message to their users by Facebook from Joel Kaplan, Vice President of U.S. Public Policy for Facebook, he says, we recognize a number of privacy and civil liberties groups have raised concerns about this bill, in particular about provisions that enable private companies to voluntarily share cyber threat data with the government. And they keep terming it cyber threat data, but it's really, there's a lot of things that can be considered cyber threat data. Anyway, moving on. Then, in an almost ironic hilarity, they bold this part. Facebook has no intention of doing this, and it is unrelated to the things we liked about HR 3523 in the first place. So there you go, it's in bold writing. They have no intention of doing that. Well, it's a good thing I trust every company and government and little message that I read from Joel Kaplan. So they have no intention. Let me just say, that is ridiculous, and here's why. If it's in there, it can be used. That's the point. It doesn't matter what your intentions are. I could go out right now and accidentally back up my car into someone else's car and wreck their car. Was that my intention? No. But did I do it? Yes. This does not make me feel better, Joel Kaplan, okay? And it doesn't make the American people or anybody else feel better either, based on all of the responses to this that I've read. People see through this, okay? So you're going to have to come up with something better next time and not blatantly bold the passage that makes you look ridiculous also. Maybe that should be part of your policy. Just saying. Okay, so moving on. If I'm degrading something, that's kind of my speech right. That's part of freedom of speech, okay? And the way that cybersecurity is basically termed in this, it leaves the door open to censor any speech that a company feels is degrading to that network. So it's just not stipulated well enough for this to, it leaves the door open to just take the Constitution outside and back over it with their car about 57 times. It's just bad. Under this very thin definition that's broad and vague and can leave that door so wide open there might as well not even be a door, vast amounts of your data and the things that you do and say in a day can be shared with all of these companies, and it can be shared with the government, and they don't have to have accountability for that. Whatever they share or do, there's no backwards accountability on it either way. No court order has to be received. They don't have to apply to do anything. Your information is just all out there. And there's all these companies supporting it. We've got a huge list here of names you'll recognize. We got Google, Verizon, AT&T, Boeing, Facebook, IBM, Intel, Microsoft, Symantec. The list goes on and on. There's like a ridiculous amount of companies that are just lining up at the door to get a pat on the head from our government for dumping all of our information in their laps without any oversight. So that's wonderful. And it's all under this ambiguous national security goal, which ever since 9/11 and even before that, we've seen used to basically run amok all over our Constitution and our rights and take those away from us. Okay, and here's the thing. A lot of people say, okay, well, I'm a good person. I'm a good person and I don't say bad things about anybody and I don't do anything wrong on the internet and I'm just your normal average person and I don't do anything wrong, so I have nothing to worry about. Yes, you do. Because here's the thing. If one person's rights get trampled, it makes it that much easier to trample the next person's rights and the next person's rights. You can't outrun this tyranny. It's like if somebody dumps a bucket of oil on the ground and it's all gooey and it's moving forward ever slowly. Well, eventually it's going to be up on your doorstep too. Because we are all Americans and this is America. And you can't just sit idly by and go, well, I'm a good person, so this doesn't apply to me. Because trust me when I say history dictates this will eventually apply to everyone. And what you're doing today might be okay, and then they might change the definition or tweak it or say, oh, well, it's so vague, this is included and that's included, and they'll just keep including things until it touches everybody. So nobody's safe from this just because you think you're a good person. That's not going to fly, okay? If they go after someone's rights today, that someone could be you tomorrow. That is how this works. I just don't think we really all want to live in the Orwellian, basically, nightmare that this kind of thing is starting to propose. You know, eventually, what will we have left? We need to fight for our Constitution and our Bill of Rights today. We need to stand up and say, this is wrong. If you're going to have something that's going to make me more secure, then I need to be the end goal on it. Not, this is going to make you more secure by taking away all of your security. It's messed up. It doesn't make any sense. So we need to stand up against CISPA. And you know, I'm just going to say too really quick, I just want to add that CISPA is just the newest version. It was also, PIPA and SOPA and ACTA, and they're going to just keep coming up with acronyms that have A on the end to try and take away our privacy and regulate the internet, because the bottom line is they do not like my ability to do what I'm doing right now and tell you how wrong I think this is. They want to regulate people's free speech. They want to regulate our ability to share information. They don't like the fact that this is not tightly under their control the way that everything else is starting to become this huge, ridiculous police state that we are living in. And we need to fight for these things now while we still can. Because eventually, we won't be able to anymore. So, that's all I had to say.